Hey everyone, it's Jen here with another Tech Tips 411 PD session. I'm super excited if you're here joining me live for top tools to foster student voice and creativity, or if you're watching this on replay, thanks for your time. So today we're going to be talking about different tools and resources that you can use with your students. For those of you that I don't know and you've just stumbled across this video, my name is Jennifer Hall and I'm an educational technology specialist for Atlanta Public Schools, and I work directly with teachers to do professional development and technology training. And so I'm super glad you're here. And if we haven't already connected, we can connect via Twitter at APSITGen. Please connect with me, and thank you again for your time. So our goals for our time today are that we're going to be learning just tips for using ed tech tools to amplify student voice and foster creativity. So right now most of us are wrapped up our school year and we're planning for next school year and what that entails. I know there are some folks out there that are still wrapping up their school year. So we're looking at tools and ideas of ways you can get your students to share their thinking to foster those 4 C's. So we definitely want to make sure we're fostering the 4 C's: communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. And the tools that we're going to talk about today help with that. And I want to add in a 5th C, which is choice. So giving students different tools that, depending on what their project is or their task, they have a little bit of choice in what they're working on. So the first tool I want to talk about is Adobe Spark. And if you're not familiar with Adobe Spark, it's a really cool tool that you can create all different kinds of projects. And so we're going to do a little dive in here and talk about Adobe Spark and what you have access to with Adobe Spark. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of projects that I have done. I use it for my Tech Tips newsletter that I create each week during the school year. And it's pretty cool that you can make really cool posters. You can make really cool little videos. And here's one that I did about video production.
Action. Video production fosters the 21st century skills. No.
So it's very weird to hear my voice again in a video, but it's pretty cool because you can add in images, you can add in voiceovers. So it's a great way for students to show what they know, and it works for any content area. So let's take a look here. Some other examples, just infographics. Adobe Spark is free and you can use it with your Google for Education accounts. So let's go ahead and hop over there and take a look. So you can sign up, and there is Adobe Spark access outside of your Google domain. But if you sign up using your education account, you can use it for free. There is also an admin console that you can get to be able to manage student projects. That's something your Google administrator would need to set up. But I'm going to go ahead and sign in here real quick. And I'm going to continue with my Google account and make sure I log in with my APS one. There we go. So you're just going to sign up with your Google account. The best thing is it's going to remember what you logged in with, and then you'll have access. So what's cool is that there's tons of different templates. So this is really good for even having your students model these different types of social media platforms. If you have them respond about the content they've learned, but do it Instagram story style or a photo collage. As you can see, there's tons of different templates that you can create. So I want to go up here and I'm going to say create a project. And notice I've got different options. I want to view all, that way I have options, because maybe I want to do a graphic, a web page, or a video. So those are the 3 different types of Adobe tools that you can use. You've got Adobe Spark, post, page, and video. So if I wanted just to do an infographic here, I can choose, there's Facebook and Twitter ones, Instagram templates, things that you want to print, that's in there as well. Advertisements. This is really cool if you're talking about different events in social studies and they need to do an advertisement about something that was happening in history. So those are some graphic options, and you can start from scratch. So if I want to just start from scratch, I can. I can also use this to create web pages. So students creating web pages, this is also a great project option. It doesn't have to go public. You can have it just be viewable to you, but it allows your students to create and model their communication skills, and they can work collaboratively as well. And the one that's most often used is obviously the video tool, because it's a video editor. It allows you to upload your own videos. Great to do like little countdown teaser trailers. They've got all these different templates. And I'm just going to choose to create a project here, and I'm going to start with just a video from scratch. And so what it does is it lets me, all right, what am I going to do this? This is just a demo. We're going to go next here. And notice I can start from scratch, or I can actually use a template that they have kind of already a look and feel. So this means for your younger learners, they're not spending as much time picking the template or designing the look and feel of it. They're focusing on the content. So if I want to, I can just start from scratch, but like, here's one, let's pick this one. It's teaching a lesson. And I'm going to bring this in, and then it blocks it out and lets me add my different elements. The great thing is, because this is web-based, I can access it on my laptop, on my mobile device. There are Adobe Spark tools to allow you to create Adobe videos and posts on your mobile device, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. I'm ready to go. Don't need to watch this tutorial. So here is a basic video tool that lets me add in elements, and it walks me through the elements. I can add in text, photos, icons. It tells me, do I want to do a full screen, split screen, everything. So this is very user-friendly for your students to create little videos about what they've learned. So at the end of a unit, you might say, all right, so show me what you've learned, and they can use Adobe Spark. I had the video tool. I had a math teacher, 6th grade math teacher, that the students were working on a project on the Beltline here in Atlanta, and they used all their math concepts. And so then they used Adobe Spark Video to create a video about what they had learned. So it was really, really cool. So that's the first tool I wanted to highlight. That is Adobe Spark. There's page, video, and other options. So here you go. Let's try it. Here's a challenge. Choose one Adobe Spark tool, whether it's page, post, or video, and create a message for your students or school. There you go. So you can use it to model for your students, and it's a great way for you to introduce it to your students. So the second tool I want to talk about is Canva. And this is probably one of my new favorite tools that I've been using to create a lot of graphics. So I've been doing a lot of YouTube videos. And so one of the things I wanted to create was YouTube thumbnails, and they have a great template. The other thing I've been using it for is some really cool Zoom backgrounds for all these virtual meetings we've been doing. Pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. So Canva is free. There's a free version and a paid version. The free version gets you access to most of the resources you're going to want. I've been able to do everything I want to do for free, but you can pay for a premium option if you'd like. So I'm going to go in here and point out that you've got all of these different designs. So I can do posters, presentations. Let's go this way here. We've got videos, logos, Facebook posts, infographics, invitations. Such cool stuff. I'm going to look in here. They also even have Venn diagrams. I thought that was really cool. Lots of social media stuff. You can create a presentation inside of Canva and use that as a tool and as a way to deliver content to your students. So I started with the thumbnails, and I'll show you some examples. But look at these infographics. You creating them for your students is a great way to use this. Option number 2 is if you want to have your students create the infographics. So with Canva, I think they can register if they're 13 or above, or you could let them collaborate and work with you in your own account that you might have created. So there's Instagram stories, social media. There's those Zoom virtual backgrounds. So you can actually search for a Zoom virtual background and add that in. You just download it and you can customize it. So let's take a look at a couple of the designs that I've created so far. So let's see here. Let's click over here. Some other options. There's some more design templates, Instagram stories, and I pulled up there. One of the other things that I really like, and then I want to show you some examples, is here are some designs that I've done. The animated Zoom background here. We've got I created, these are YouTube options, and this is like some advertisement stuff that I created. But what's really cool is if you're a Bitmoji fan like I am, check this out. It integrates with your Bitmoji. So you can actually link your Bitmoji. You can also link to your Google Drive and your OneDrive, so you can bring in assets that you want. So if there's not a resource in there that you can find of a tool that you like or a design that you want. So I'm going to go here and say, let's go to my create a design here. And I'm just going to pick this untitled one and show you a couple of the features of things you can add in here. So this is just a blank one that I brought up. So maybe I want to add this in here as an information thing about options. Let's go ahead and open it up in the new editor here. I love it when there's updates. Open in the new editor while it's happening live. This is always fun. Got some updates. There we go. So I can go in here and I can search for photos, elements, text. I can even pull in videos, backgrounds. I can upload my stuff. And down here, I can link to other tools. For example, linking the Bitmoji option, and you can add in other elements as well. So if you want to bring in Instagram photos, you can link it to your Instagram or share directly to your Instagram as well. But I think Canva is really powerful because I can go up here and I can search different templates, find the one that I like, and just customize it. So I'm not as much focusing on the design element, but if you want to start from scratch, you can. But I can also go in here and search by photos. So if I was going to look up tech pictures, it's going to pull up ones, and it will tell me if it's free. If it's not free, it's going to have a little crown icon on it. So as you can see, I've got plenty of free images. There's a crown. That means that's under the pro license. I would need to pay for that. But again, Canva is a really cool tool. And even with the free version, you can get a lot of assets and resources to use for your designs. So that was number 2. Got a couple other ones I'm going to show you here. So let's go back here to our try and challenge. Choose one design template to create a graphic to introduce a new lesson or unit. This could be your hook. This right here is where you created an image or a quick little video or animated GIF that you want to say, hey, look, this is what we're learning about next. So this would be a really cool tool you can use. And then you're modeling it for your students. And then you can say, all right, guys, I want to introduce you to Canva, and you guys are going to create some stuff as well. The third tool I want to talk about is Soundtrap. And if you're not familiar with Soundtrap, it's a music tool. It's if you're familiar with GarageBand, this is a web-based version of collaborative music creation as well as podcasting. So it has all sorts of cool stuff, and it does allow you to create information online, and you can collaborate. And I've used it for creating my intro to my Tech Tips 411 videos and to do different mixes. And it's just a super cool platform that you can use. What's great is there's a free version. There is an education platform that lets you go in and create different mixes and collaborate. You can have 5 projects for free. Once you're done with your project, you can export it. So basically you can have 5 ongoing projects at a time. It's super cool because I can add in my own vocals. I can add in my own voice track. I can add in my own music. There's beats. All of that's included in Soundtrap. And you can even, if you are that tech savvy, you can connect a musical instrument to it and have it work and actually record your own stuff. But you can connect to different platforms. You can collaborate with folks. You can share out stuff. And the way Soundtrap was designed, it was initially set up with the idea that, hey, I'm a musician. I can sing, but I can't play the guitar. So it'd be great if I could connect with somebody that could actually play the guitar on the song that I've written. So I think that that's a really cool tool. So let's take a look here at Soundtrap real quick. So you can just log in once you've created your account. So I'm going to log in with my Google account here. And that little video loop that was playing there kind of walked you through a lot of this that we're going to look at here. So I'm going to log in. Magic is happening. So I have my free account and I can create 5 projects. So what's really cool is the project is I can go in here. Let's enter the studio. And I can add in all these different elements. So if you want to teach your students podcasting, this is really, really cool. So I can say, all right, my project is going to be a podcast. We're going to start from scratch. I can use beats if I want and all of that. You can interview folks. I could look at all these elements. Already it's walking me through what do I need to do. So I can get some loops. So I can get that intro music to make my podcast sound really good. And then I can bring in sound effects to make it authentic. Can you imagine using this with your students and they're creating historically based podcasts? So if they were to, interview someone from history, they could use this as a tool to create that interview. Think of the old school where you had to write like an interview back and forth and, you just would handwrite it out. But now you could do this where you're interviewing somebody else and they're portraying that person from history. You could also use it to do just a podcast, what's going on in the school or what they've learned. I had one teacher that was working on a podcast project before we got out for distance learning on, I think they were reviewing the different periods in history that they had studied in 6th grade social studies. And so she'd broken up the groups into research groups and they were going to do their podcast about the event that they learned about. or the different historical events. So that's the third tool there. That is Soundtrap. It's such a cool tool. I do have some links that I'm going to add up there, just getting started with podcasts and Soundtrap, and I'll put those links in the description of this video. So a couple other ideas, documenting a field trip. Obviously, when we get back in the real world, you could have your students, because Soundtrap has a mobile app, you can have them record out in the field interviews, as well as just kind of, background sounds and stuff like that. It's great for recording a class discussion. You can do it for book reviews, conducting interviews, like I said, all sorts of stuff, creating original compositions. Another example is I do a film project each year, and having students create their own original music for their film is really cool. So lots of cool options for Soundtrap. So something you might want to consider doing is use Soundtrap to create a message for your students. Use the instruments to create a background track. So you can kind of a welcome to class intro, kind of like that hype intro would be really cool for you to create for your students. My next favorite tool here is Google Drawings. And I do a lot of stuff with Google Drawings. It's probably one of my absolute favorite tools. And I've got a resources page all about Google Drawings, and I'll put a link to that in the description that shows all of these projects that I've already done with students and just ways that I've used Google Drawings. But great for creating comic strips, infographics, timelines. We did a poster project where students created planet posters in 6th grade science. It was super cool. You can make it an interactive whiteboard or an interactive activity where students have to like drag and drop elements on it and let them create stuff. So there's that planet poster project, which was super cool. So a lot of people go, well, I've never heard of Google Drawings. How do I even get to Google Drawings? So this is actually a lesson that I did with 6th grade science when I went in and introduced to them, hey, I'm going to introduce you to Google Drawings. Most had never heard of it. They were like, how do you even get to it? I don't even know what it is. And we were designing it, and I'm showing them. And as I'm showing them, they're trial and error. They're figuring it out. So Google Drawings is a free tool that's hidden inside of your Google Drive. So let's take a look over here where you find it. So if I go into my Google Drive, all right, I go into my Google Drive. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say new. And they hide the good stuff. I'm going to say new. I'm going to go down here to more. You got to hide, it hides down there. You got to go to more, and then there it is. Hiding under Google Forms is Google Drawings. So that's going to bring you that blank canvas. Now, I've got a lot of teachers doing some really, really cool stuff on Google Slides. And I did a neat project with a class at the end of the year on doing stop motion in Google Slides. And I'm going to be talking about some interactive tool projects you can do with Google Suite apps on an upcoming PD session. But they took the concepts that they had learned inside of our drawings project and brought it in here. So we look there, we've got this blank canvas, and the advantage of this is this is one page. So if I use slides, I've got multiple pages, and you could design on one page. But if I want to have this one ginormous canvas I want to work with, I'm going to use Google Drawings to do that. So I use it to modify my Bitmojis. I use it to create different posters, interactives, all different types of tools. So I think Drawings is definitely probably one of my most versatile favorite tools because there's so many cool options. So for example, I worked with a 6th grade social studies class, and their task was that they had to create a poster advertising their city. They had been studying different cities and countries in Europe, and it had to have the name of the country. It had to have a tagline, and it had to have some sort of visual that cued us that was the location. And so this was the model I created for the students about visiting England. I also use it for creating movie posters for the film project I mentioned. So lots of cool options. Some other fun things you can do is Google Drawings has the ability to make templates. And this is my workspace. So I did this for a meme project. And so this is the meme space. And then out here, this is where you can give instructions on the outside of the work canvas. So only what would print or is visible if you were to export it as a JPEG or a PNG or anything is going to be in this middle space right here. It's that blank canvas part right here. So this is my workspace. And then I can add anything I want, instructions over here, and that won't appear if I were to export the image. So the other cool thing is that why I like Google Drawings is it can be exported as a JPEG, a PNG, also an SVG, which is a scale vector graphic, which allows you to make it be small or large. So it's really cool for students to design posters that eventually are going to be printed. You can export the PDF and you can insert hyperlinks, and it means it's still active. And the other cool thing is that you can publish it to the web, and then it's a live document type style presentation. So Google Drawings, super fun, super cool. And I will put a link in the description to my Google Drawings page and the templates that I mentioned. So definitely, if you're not using Google Drawings, check it out. So something right here you can do is try it. Create a meme about your ideal vacation. Notice I said ideal vacation since we're all on staycation right now and we're not getting to go anywhere. But there's an activity for you to try. So I'm going to drop that meme link into the description so you guys will be able to try that out at your leisure. So the next tool I want to talk about is Flipgrid. And I probably have a bunch of Flipgrid fans that use Flipgrid all the time. And I am an avid lover of Flipgrid because every year, constantly they're upgrading and adding all sorts of cool elements. So if we take a look at Flipgrid, we're going to see that I've got a resources page also on Flipgrid, and I'm going to put the link to that in the description that says, hey, here's some ideas. A student station when we were, live and in school, we actually, at one of my schools, they created a Flipgrid station in the media center. But the reasons I love Flipgrid are so many to count, but it fosters those 5 C's, communication, creativity, obviously, critical thinking, and it connects students to the world because you're getting them to participate in different activities in Flipgrid. And now that they've added in features like the immersive reader and it connects to so many different other apps, and it's integrated into tools like Wakelet. And if you're not familiar with Wakelet, I did a Wakelet session earlier, so please do check that out. There's just lots of options. So all you got to do is you're going to go ahead and sign up if you haven't already done so. And Flipgrid is free. So of course it's my favorite price. It's free. It used to be a paid tool. And then Microsoft purchased it and then made it free for everyone. You can link it to either your Google account or your Microsoft account. Log in there. Now, what's great is each grid that you create is going to be either for your class or however you want to organize it. So we've been using it. In fact, I partner with one of my schools, and the students did their memories. So kids were able to upload videos if they wanted to contribute to the 8th grade class video. They could do that by recording their video. And what's great is I can set the parameters on Flipgrid to allow just a few seconds up to now 10 minutes of recording. So really, you can make an actual movie on Flipgrid. So I'm going to actually go here to my Educator's Insight and walk you through a couple of things. So as you can see, you can have multiple topics. And we're just going to create a new topic and point out a couple of things that make this really powerful. And I'm going to do a deeper dive into Flipgrid tomorrow. So if you're interested in a deep dive in Flipgrid, that's going to be available tomorrow. So I can put my questions in here and I can set my time. So I can set it up. So, hey guys, I want you guys to respond. And what was really cool is that the school that I worked with for their Flipgrid memories, they actually set it to like 30 seconds. So they were able to put those little snippets together. The other cool thing I saw recently was shout out to Inman Middle School's chorus. Is that they use Flipgrid to record individually their final project, the girls chorus and the boys chorus, the men's group at the end of the school year. This was their project. They recorded into Flipgrid, and then someone did magical stuff by downloading all the videos, and they're singing as a chorus. It's fantastic. So such cool ways to use Flipgrid, but I can add in all these different elements to support my lesson. Look, that there's an integration of Wakelet or Kahoot, or look, there's Adobe Spark. So I can use that to create my topic, and I can add some other options here as well. So I can go in and add other resources. One of the things that teachers always ask me is, well, my kids don't want to see it. They just want to send it to me. So that's where we're going to look into like moderation and stuff. I can choose other elements and I can do feedback, but let's go back up here for the moderation piece right here. That's the one question I always get asked. Maybe you only want the videos to come to you and not necessarily have the students see each other's quite yet. So that's what we've done, is that video moderation. And so you want to make sure you turn that on so you'll see it first. So I can go ahead and push out this. I can put my prompt in there. They've added an immersive reader, so that makes it really cool. So you can check that out. So now, let's hop back over here and take a look at one other thing. some ideas you might want to use it. Great for creating a movie trailer in Flipgrid. They've got the whiteboard feature now. And again, I'm going to do a deep dive into Flipgrid and how it works tomorrow. And it has some really cool screen recording feature now. But again, musical performance, like I said, Inman rocked it out with their, you should look it up on YouTube. They did Landslide. Fantastic. Dramatic readings for news reporter, interviews, science experiments, talk show type stuff, math problems. Another shout out to one of my schools that one of the math teachers had the kids do TikTok style videos using Flipgrid. They created the TikTok style video and then uploaded it to Flipgrid to show what they'd learned about their math concepts. Super cool. Artwork or an art walk, so much fun. TED Talk style prompts for students to respond to. All different types of options you can do with Flipgrid. So I do have a Flipgrid for you to respond to. I'm going to drop that link in the chat. If you're interested, you can check that out as well. But what are some ideas you have for fostering your students' voice and creativity? And we've talked about a couple of tools so far today. Hopefully one or two of those are going to be something that you're going to find beneficial, or maybe an idea or two. So the other thing is, now let's level up. We've talked about these tools. How about we app smash and use them together? So using one of my favorite apps, Green Screen by Doink, lets you use green screening, and then using it with Adobe Spark, and then using it with iMovie, and using Flipgrid. We did an app smash at one of my schools where the students recorded, did their editing in Doink for the green screen, and then edited in iMovie, and then uploaded it to Flipgrid. Boom, lots of app smashing going on. So there's lots of opportunities for the students create their own original soundtrack, and then they use that and share it podcast style on Flipgrid, which is really cool. So this was kind of a quick session, just an overview of a couple of tools that you might find interesting or beneficial. The goal was to learn some tips for using EdTech tools to amplify student voice and foster creativity. You might be familiar with one or two of the tools, but maybe you got an idea of how you could use it with your students. So I am going to drop the link to this right here. This is the link to the presentation that has the little video recaps as well as the ideas that were mentioned. So I will drop that in the chat. If you haven't already done so, I'd appreciate if you want to check out my website. There's tons of resources there. If you go to the resources tab, it's organized by topic, so you can find a lot of stuff there. Additionally, you can also get my, and I'll put the link in the description, to my app that has everything all in the palm of your hand, so you can search for tools based on what you're looking for. You're looking for video tools or communication tools or creativity tools. You can check that out there as well. So I appreciate your time. If you've tuned in live or you're checking this out on the replay, I appreciate it. I have a few more sessions coming up. We're now in the first week of June, and so tomorrow I'll be talking about Flipgrid. Got some Google Classroom stuff going on Wednesday, talking about awesome assessment tools on Thursday, and some G Suite tips and tricks on Friday. And as you can see, I've got sessions going on until the end. Well, it looks like Friday the 19th, because I get to be on vacation as of the 21st. So I definitely want to point that out. If we haven't already connected, please connect via Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, and let me know if you found this session beneficial. I'd appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe and give this a thumbs up or drop a comment in the chat. I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. And guess what? I'll see you on the next one.